Good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here, we're live, we're loud. It's Monday. We're coming out of the most devastating game week known to man. The game week that was Gameweek 312. Took no prisoners. There's casualties all over the battlefield this game week. It has been unforgiven. We're moving into game week 313, and there's not much more light at the end of the tunnel moving into this midweek. And to join me, as ever in recent times, is the one, the only Harry Trades. Harry, thanks a lot for joining us, my man. How are you? Are you in one piece after game week 312? Where are you at? Are you living? Are you breathing?
I'm doing well, thank you, mate. And yeah, thank you for having me on the channel again. Yeah, in terms of the game week 312, I'm actually in an okay spot. Like I'm in line to win a few things, which is quite a surprise to me because yeah, it hasn't really been clicking for me recently. And yeah, it's just nice that a few lineups have done what they're kind of supposed to. Maybe not to the degree that I'd hoped, but definitely to a degree. So yeah, I can't complain too much.
Yeah, well, I definitely had some big hitting performers, and that wasn't really the problem. The problem was all these sniper rifles that were taking out one player out of every team for no real reason or right after deadline. It was just from start to finish. As soon as the deadline locked in, there was a Celtic relate. No, what was it? I think I can't remember what it was, but something hit me right after deadline, and it was like, that's not happening. And then there was a few other things throughout Friday. And then the weekend just got madder. I can see there's a bunch of people in the live chat. Noah Brook was the first one here. Fist bump to you, my man. Welcome. Charlie Dunbar, Mikey Basson, Bald Sherlock, and Sam D. Fist bumps to all of you. Thanks for joining us. But Noah Brook also saying Luis Diaz out until the World Cup. So if you've got a Luis Diaz card, we're waking up with tears today, Harry boy, with that news.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Bald Sherlock saying my volume's off a little bit. I don't know, my mic's in. Wait, let me take this off my mic and see if this changes anything. The little muffler thing.
I can't see that comment. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
It is interesting.
That's bizarre. I can't see anything past the Luis Diaz one. That's bizarre. I'll tackle that. But yeah, so I'm maybe coming out with like a card-ish or so, Harry. But the foundation, so the member section of the channel where we do member streams, builders, lineup builders, gallery reviews, all that kind of stuff. There's also a giveaway team in that, and that is pretty much the only team I've got. Oh, wrong window. That is going to be walking out of my gallery, probably with a trophy this game week. Coming in 201st with Captain Super Mario Balotelli, Nadishima and Hadzimetovic being their usual around 50 average selves, and then Piri saving a penalty in a 1-0 loss to Besiktas, bringing in 89 points from a goalkeeper spot. The guy's been a legend for the FC Barcelona Foundation. What a shrewd pickup. And yeah, Nadishima is running the now, so maybe he can get another couple of points. We're 12 points away actually from a tier 1. So if Nadishima can break 60, maybe the foundation will come out with a tier 1 giveaway card. So that'll be quality. And otherwise, yeah, it's just agony from top to bottom, Harry. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know if I want to even put myself through all this, but I think the people at home might have a bit of a giggle with some of it. So I've ordered my teams by best possible rank, right? So that's the best one there from the foundation. I've still got a card here to run, so maybe that does something. Actually, you never know. In here, a DNP out of nowhere, killing the D2 team. So it was the first D2 teams we're getting out, and I was buzzing about it. And one of the first teams, it was like straight away. This was on Friday. Gregera, not in the team, absolute DNP'd on me, which is an absolute killer. And then I'm trying to think what other ones were like the big kind of shocks. Greg Taylor, DNP'd, absolutely wrote off about 3 teams for me, or 2 teams because I had him at left back. Tony Watt scored, which was brilliant. Brais Mendes scored again and had the captain's armband. And Ki Sung Young with a 63 with no decisive. This team was set up to do some damage, man. Only 70 points, including multiplying and all that caper, away from anything, and the goalkeeper got hammered 5-4 but still came out with a 15 score. But see, the goalkeeper for Fenerbahce, Harry,
yeah,
he came out with 0 and he conceded 4 goals in this game.
What?
Yeah,
That's crazy
because of the way the decisive worked and whatever. So like
okay.
So what I've kind of discovered in this scenario, right, is the decisive score's protected, I think. Or no, maybe not actually, because his AA is still +7. Or maybe not actually. I thought it was because this is red, and then when you look at his, it's grey. And then I maybe thought, yeah, his is obviously like or maybe it's because of the AAs went negative, so it's just changed colour here. Maybe that's what's actually happened. But that's why I thought it was maybe a bit of decisive protection somehow. But yeah, that error leading to goal just took him down another 10 points, and his AA was overall shocking. Didn't make any saves, basically just conceded goals.
That's nuts. That's wild.
That's like an All Black type score or something, isn't it?
Yeah. That's nuts.
So this team had like 3 out of 5 pieces, man, that were studs. Like Tony, what form he's on, man. He's got another midweek fixture as well. So I'm buzzing to have that super rare as well, which is quite cool. Snodgrass, done a bit of snodgrassing at the weekend as well. But Kyogo, I've got again about 3 or 4 bloody Kyogos running around in different places. DNP'd out the team. Maeda started on the bench, came on at half time, didn't influence the game. And again, Hatate for the defender did good enough. Hart, without the clean sheet, did good enough. And it's just like 90 points, including multipliers and all that caper, away from something. Without a captain Kyogo playing, it was just kicking the balls.
It's a killer.
Jota subbed off at half time, Harry. Super rare Kyogo DNP. Goalkeeper drops a 92. Super rare Harwood Bellis drops an 80. And then Sensei does a 52, which wasn't that great anyway. But yeah, I mean, basically 200 points out of defence is phenomenal, with the firepower I'm normally rolling around with. So that was
100%.
That was a kick in the balls. Mukiele loves playing in Ligue 1 for PSG. 2 games in a row. He's broke 80 now, which was cool to see, but team didn't do anything. Jens DNP. Santi starts on the bench. And Tani started the game week off. I messaged you first thing. Tani clean sheet was right at the beginning. And it's like, yes, under 23s has got something going. And then at half 12, no Jens. Straight away, fuck you. It's not happening.
Jesus. So painful, isn't it? So painful.
Brutal, mate. So Talis Magno, I don't know if you've seen his assist, by the way, but it's absolutely glorious. Did you see it? Oh, mate, it's just...
I didn't, mate, no. I saw he got brought off injured, didn't he? But
I think he's broke his arm or something, maybe dislocated his shoulder. It was like one of these, he was coming off, like, maybe his forearm, in fact. They were, like, holding him, like, his arm in some way delicately, so...
Yeah.
Not a bad injury football-wise, but it probably means he can't play football while he's got a Stuckey or an armrest on or something,
Jesus.
But his assist, by the way, mate, see if you see the highlights at Atlanta, New York, it'll only be 3 minutes. Not much happened except the goals,
Yeah.
But Magno, man, he's just standing still on his heels, right? And who is it? Gabriel Pereira knocks the ball into him rapid from the halfway line and then overlaps him. And Magno just stands still, mate, and literally just turns round. And as he does it, it's almost like dancing. It's almost like a Michael Jackson type of move, And he just, the way he does it, he just passes the ball and it's perfectly into the guy's path, and then he just expertly chips the keeper as well. It's a sick goal, but the assist, it's just like, because he's got a mad afro as well, just looks like a mad dance move. If you know what I mean, he's just like pirouetting on the spot in the middle of the pitch, and it's a pure world-class pass. So that was nice to see. But
I rate him a lot. I think he's a great player.
Oh yeah,
too good for that.
Put a huge smile on my face, but that was last night, and the Jens was like 36 hours before or something, so that was going nowhere. This kind of might have done something alright, it just didn't quite get there. 3 points away from a limited in Champion Euro. Big Eden dropping some decisives on us, nobody else doing much. Coney for 62 on AA, but yeah. Big score from Big LG, and then the rest of the team didn't really do much. 11 points off a card, close but no cigar again. And then this team, with Magno in it, and then the Roldanza did okay. DNP, Don Crescito, I've still got Lampe to go. So 150 points with a big scoring defender out the cards like that. Lampe's probably going to drop a 70 or something, and that would have been quite easy to maybe get with a guy like that, maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
Specialist Guardiola rested for the Celtic game, didn't play against Mainz. DNP for him, crucified this poor team that would have done nothing anyway. But that happened at like 2 o'clock on Saturday, so I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because the Ferran looked to be a good card with being L15 under 40.
Yeah, definitely.
47 points off a card here, just so close. Just, Fagner did quality, but nobody else really done anything. Under 23s, Muric DNP, talk about pain.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Really, really is.
All-Star, I don't know. It just wasn't great, really. Nobody really done much. Getting the ETH, which is fine, but still 50 points off a card. Again, with no decisives, I can't really complain, I guess. And then this team, I put this team out as a Twitter competition, right? So whoever could beat this team by the most, I'm going to give them a limited David Soraya card. And then right quick in the game week, like Tony got his goal, and until Celtic lost a clean sheet, Ralston was on a 70 or something. He was doing brilliant. And then Big Paul got 2 goals. And then like later in the night, the goalkeeper DNPs. And I'm like, oh man, that would have been, imagine I did really good. That would have been quite funny. For a giveaway if I came in like 4th. Right, okay, who entered? They beat me. But it also wasn't to be. In any case, with Vlasic dropping a 32, I might have... so yeah, this is kind of done okay. 72 points off a card. It's fun for the competition, I guess. But again, DNP goalkeeper unforeseen. 90 points here. Again, everybody was just kind of rubbish. And then again, Kyogo, DNP, 50 points off a card. With a bunch of like okay scores here. Nothing amazing really, but Kyogo could have definitely carried that. So, 100%. Man, how many cards did I say away from there, man? Well, it must have been about 6, easily. I had some huge ass scores. Like even this one, when Yama dropped a 100 last night, he got his assists after me picking him, and then picking him and a crap team last week that did nothing. He did okay, and then this week I thought this was the last team I picked, and I thought Thiago should get a decisive from the bench. Maybe he starts. He came off the bench, didn't do anything, and then legit scores for a 73, and we're 25 points off a card because of bloody Thiago Andrade getting a 21 rather than a 47 or something. Which is just kicking the balls. That'd have been something at the very last. So I had lots of cards. If you look at my top order, this is the thing that causes me pain on days like this, Harry. This is when I look at my gallery and I say there is winning teams here every week. And this isn't like, this is something that you should be getting to when you're building your galleries. Eventually, if you're winning cards, but you can look across your top 10 here and go, across maybe 3 different scarcities, or maybe you guys at home are only at 1 scarcity, whatever it may be, different regions. Oh, there's like 3 guys here that I could have feasibly comboed together that I didn't. And that would have resulted in me getting top 50. I might not necessarily be first or, whatever. But so, yeah, look at this. Right, guys, let's just say over 60. So from Magno, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, about 24, let's say about 30, about 35, just to not count and kill everyone's ears. But about 35 players breaking 60 across 3 scarcities. That's a great haul.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's stupid, really, isn't it?
So close but no cigar. That's what I've said with the intro. Absolute pain, absolute carnage, Harry boy. Have you got your teams up on screen? Can I flip over?
Yeah, you should be able to see them. I'm on Sorare data.
There we go.
I think.
Let's see if you've got the pain, or if you've managed to.
Yeah, so like I've managed to avoid pain in most areas. Like I've not had any like random DMP goalies. I feel like this week has been just weirdly random in terms of goalies DMPing. I've not seen that many goalies DMP in a long time.
That's a huge amount, man. That Muric was...
Yeah, just really random ones. The Muric one, the Osaka one for Hiroshima, not even in the squad.
Oh, really?
Just, a load of random ones. But yeah, luckily, having a smaller gallery, the chances are you're going to be less affected by these things on paper. But, some people might get really unlucky and just, have a Muric, have an Osaka. I know Chani, that comes to mind. I know Chani owns 2 of them. So, tough week for Chani if he's in the chat or if he's not. But yeah, in terms of myself right now, we've got 2 rewards to be won as we speak. The All-Star Rare was a complete throwaway. Carlson started on the bench, which I presumed he would. Fatty the same, and same for Suzuki, so nothing to look at there. Specialist Super Rare, quite happy that they all played somewhat. Kuku came off the bench, semi-expected. Luis actually came off the bench, so he was rested for the first 45 minutes, which, I wouldn't say was out of the ordinary because it happened the week before the international, with obviously playing PSG back-to-back. So I could foresee that in a way, hence why I played him there. Really good score by Tanguy. This was only in 56 minutes as well, so he got this without the clean sheet bonus. I know they conceded, but at the time they hadn't. New manager, so I'm hoping that could be something to sort of look into. Matson started again, really good AA score. I think, a couple of attempted assists. Just sort of scoring pretty well AA-wise, just no decisives. And then Gayton Cook, we said last week, it was, was it the Tanny or was it the Cook play? I ended up going for Tanny, and it's obviously, gone in my favour. But yeah, Cook ended up conceding 3 away to Anderlecht, it's home. It's home to Anderlecht. I don't know. I just got really lucky with this one. Like it was for me, it was just a toss of a coin, and luckily I picked right. And as you can see down by here, which we'll get into, ended up picking Tanny. But this is a bit painful,
Oops.
to be honest, because Timber and
Wow.
Enzo were the first two to play. So
Yeah.
I was on 211 points after two played. Timber was on like 100 at one point because at that point they didn't concede two. So we lost 20 points by two fours,
Yeah.
and then the 10,
10.
so I guess 18 points. Yeah, and then Jen started, came off 60th, so obviously rested for midweek. They beat Utrecht 2-1. Bit unfortunate. I didn't really have much else to go in there, hence why I went with two forwards. Ferreira did what Ferreira kind of just does. I was a bit scared he wouldn't start. That's why I played him in the under-23 rare, not the pro. And yeah, really good AA score. Got the assist. I think he had like a stupid amount. Yeah, 4 shots on target, which was bonkers.
Nice.
Yeah, 345 points with, we knew Lafont was going to concede 3 minimum, and luckily it was only 3. Could have been a lot worse. So yeah, hopefully we hold on to a tier 3 rare there.
Fingers crossed,
and then
man.
in here, yeah, hopefully. And then in here is probably
Nice.
where I got the most luck. So yeah, cost a clean sheet, which was, I wouldn't say expected, but most expected from my goalies in terms of their matchups. Questa lost a few points towards the end because of the clean sheet. Utkin actually hit the post or bar, I don't know which one, but he hit one of them in a 3-2 win at home to Krasnodar. Pedri got a goal and Fleming got 2, which I'm over the moon for. He scored in like the first 5 minutes. His AA score like disappeared though, which was interesting. I guess big chance missed didn't help.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 3 goals in 2 for him. And yeah, I'm very close to a tier 1 rare, so I guess any sort of adjustments could potentially go in my favor, but we've still got 2% of players to play. So yeah, I think I'll hold on for a tier 2. I don't think I'll get pushed up in any way. Probably, or looking at it now, obviously wrong captain choice has cost me here. And then yeah, this is what I've got ongoing. So Tanny with the clean sheet, Badia Shield with a really nice score, clean sheet away to Montpellier. This was annoying. I had a good feeling Vitesse would start. Obviously, normally I would play Fleming in here. He's my D2 guy. Obviously, I brought him down to D3. I know. And then Vitesse actually went off injured 42 minutes in. Got a big chance missed. He did the opposite of what he did midweek. He scored 2 in like 10 minutes in the Europa League, and yeah, just sort of killed me a bit here. Went off injured, like I said. And I've got these 2 guys running now, so I'm 133 points away from a tier 3 super. If Zaydu puts up a decent score, if Sforza does as well, then hopefully we can cheer on maybe a tier 3 super. I think, we're 180 away from a tier 2. I don't think that's really realistic unless, they go crazy off, but I just can't really see it. And then, yeah, last team is the Underdog Super Rare, which happy again to get everyone out and play in. Segi Kawa did come off the bench at half time with a really good AA score, actually, in a 3-all draw. Antlers are just not trustable right now. Jelle with a really good AA score. His defender card scored a lot better than this, though, if you look into... there it is. So his defender card scored 83. I had the midfielder, so, only scored 68.
Sure.
But nonetheless, as captain, it put me in a good position because that was Friday, actually. So, yeah, Yari again, disappointing, to be honest. Shot on target, a few little bits and bobs.
He won winning, he's done nothing.
Yeah, like I watched the goals. To be fair, he sort of passed the ball to the person that he basically got a key pass for like, I think it was Fabio Silva's goal, actually. I saw the replay. So he's obviously involved, just not enough to be decisive in that sense. But yeah, you know what? I'll have to, even if I come away with a tier 3 and a tier 2, I'll be over the moon, to be honest. Because, yeah, I've not had 2 rewards to open in a long time, to be honest. So in the same week, of course. So yeah, very, very pleased and grateful to be able to say that.
Yeah, a fair play, man. At least you've still got some stuff running at this very late hour, which is still good.
Unusual, yeah.
I've got my fail. That's the only thing that's anywhere near. He kicks off at 8. He's just been announced in the starting 11, and that's a division with no multipliers. So if he can break 60, I'll get something, and if he can break 75, I might get something that's halfway okay. So that's the last for me basically. But coming into this game week, Harry, for the midweek, like I know you've not got too many teams yourself, but how are you looking?
I was having a little look earlier, and I don't know, like obviously they're all the same fixtures as last week, as far as I'm aware. I think even down to like Conference League and stuff. So in terms of fixtures, I guess like I'm not saying there's not much to go through, but like we kind of we have a decent idea of what's going to sort of play out. I know home and aways are massive advantages. Either way. So you can't expect it to be the exact same game, of course, but it just gives you a good enough idea, I think. And yeah, I'm in a weird position because I probably have too many goalies from midweek. I'm not used to having three. And yeah, now that I've got like a Fofana injury, have I got another defender? Well, I sold Dalot, so I'm pretty low in the defender category right now. So I have to be quite cautious in how I pick my teams, basically. But I have a load of midfielders, so yeah, it's probably gonna have to be like a double midfielder type of situation and accommodate for the lack of defenders. So yeah, no, I should get two teams out. What am I going to prioritize? I really don't know right now. In the sense, is that going to be under 23 Super, D2, D3, or under 23 Rare? So we'll have to we can work that out maybe on the stream for a little bit. And yeah, of go through it that way. How are you looking? How are you feeling about the Celtics worries? I guess in terms of I've seen like Jota might be injured. I don't know how you sort of dealing with all that.
Well, it doesn't. I had the so. Like I always do, obviously go and have a wee scoot over the teams and maybe throw them together in bits and pieces when the game week opens, and Jota goes into the best team, of course, every time. And so to get that kind of news now is also better than getting it tomorrow. It's kind of so that's actually a really good thing that the Celtic game is on a Tuesday, so we get the news the day before the game. So that's actually maybe something to remember for the future. Champions League games that play on Tuesdays are good to get intel for game weeks, So yeah, I guess that's a kind of blessing in disguise, but it means I've had to totally reshake everything and move what would be an absolute priority card all the way down to I think he's going to be on the bench and I don't want to miss out on him position, which is where he kind of occupies now. So it's been madness at my bit. I'm actually just looking at the live chat as well. I've caught up with I've managed to get the rest of the comments through from that one about the volume or whatever. Mikey Baston's saying that he made an oversight with America Rare playing Kyoto. I think he must have been out. Joe Willis dropped a max. I'm guessing you mean 100 by that, and still might get a tier 3. Not bad for DNP. Mikey Baston, well done. Sesko probably screwed me in the giveaway comp. You did beat you, but probably not by the most, says Joe Ducey. Thanks very much for tracking that. It means a lot, buddy. I had 3 players with a total of 6 cards get 100, and I'm still pulling 1 good card. Oh, well done, Joe. Good combos from you. And hey, the FC Dallas fan, of course. Jesus was having fun on Sunday, went to the ground at the end in disappointment, not breaking the FC Dallas season goal scoring record. Yeah, so he was motivated to kick ass and take names. And privately, Hey Mai has reached out to me, Harry, demanding a public apology for us calling it FC Dallas syndrome, and maybe they don't really care about the last game, and maybe they just we'll just rotate a bit and we're in the playoffs anyway, who cares, because they ran riot last night, as you see with your Jesus Ferreira and as I seen with my Sebastian Legit, so egg on our faces from that, and public unreserved apology to FC Dallas, and of course Hey Mai, who's here with us tonight.
Sorry, Hey Mai.
On that front, sorry. For sure. For the midweek, I want the guys in the comment section to let me know what competition they're going for in particular, what they're aiming for. Is there anything in the mirror image of the fixture that you're looking to maybe learn from? Me, for example, I am prioritising Trubin against Real Madrid over Oblak against Bruges this time. Because I think you've all very much Oblak's at home, right? But I don't remember that Bayender thing we just looked at. He did nothing all game. Oblak could be in for one of those nights, if you know what I mean. And if he doesn't get the clean sheet, then he is like 35, with multiplier 10%, 38 or something, Whereas Trubin will be busy and he will make saves. And as long as he concedes less than 3, he can bang 70, so that's the lesson I'm learning. Is there anything from anyone who's watching us live? There's a bunch of you here. If you are here, by the way, make sure you do like the stream, get involved in the live chat, get your fist bump on arrival, and let me know what in the mirror image fixture, what in the return fixture what lessons are you going to learn? What mistakes are you going to correct this game week to make you do better? Because if we're all doing that, then this midweek should be pandemonium. If we all learn our lessons from, I shouldn't have played him against Real Madrid, or I should have played him against Bruges or whatever, So that should be interesting. But with the change in the seasons, MLS is finished now, right? I completed a trade. Now I was in the member section, Harry, and I told the guys about the trade as soon as I'd done it. And one of them was giving me a wee bit of penalties from it. Not many people have came back to it on yet, right? But I want to get. I don't know if I'll get your take on it. I don't know if you'll know the player too well, but right, I had the Red Bulls goalkeeper Coronel. I guess you can pull up and stuff, right? So I picked him up. I picked him up a while ago. I've played him like all season basically, and I traded him out after he scored a really good score last night, but he's now playoffs, so maybe he gets one more game for definite, maybe he gets another one beyond that, who knows, who cares. It's a maximum of like 3 or 4 games in the playoffs, and it's off season until the end of February. I traded him out and I brought in let's see what's on screen here, sorry. I brought in
I'm always a bit delayed as well in terms of like what I can see on your screen, by the way, so
a super rare
go on.
Craig Gordon.
Wow, you said it.
So
I remember you saying it.
I was after him a wee bit. I went for the auction. The auction actually went cheaper than the 1 of 100 rare, would you believe? Not by much, but both went for around the 0.4 mark. He is 39, but he does seem to be aging like a Japanese goalkeeper, so I'm hopeful we'll get the rest of the season out of him, Hopefully, like I've got, talking to Hendo, who's a big Tartan Army supporter. He reckons, Scotland goes to all the games and stuff, and whatever. He reckons Gordon's aiming for the Euros, the next international competition. Maybe we'll qualify for that, and then he just finishes after that point. So I don't mind trading a Cornell than now, especially because this midweek, right? Hearts play Fiorentina, which isn't a great game, right? But I now finally have a midweek super rare goalkeeper. But the duality and the problem with that situation, Harry, is my unique that plays midweeks is injured until after the World Cup. McGregor. So it's not fully optimized, but I've got some good super rares that are like not getting into D3s and stuff for this midweek, so I just have so little goalkeepers in general. So my team for this week, and as MLS winds down now, my teams are really going to be very much decision based, because I'm not got like a set of like 10 keepers, 10 defenders, 12 midfielders, 12 forwards or something, and they all just somehow will configure out depending on who's good and who's bad. It's very much I've got like 5 goalkeepers and then like 20 mids and 12 forwards and, that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this next period of SO5 for my own gallery's sake personally. It's just like getting really kind of dug into it and maximising guys, because like I was saying, I was looking at that page before. Like I've got winning cards on there. I just need to combo them up. But this guy, if I get a year and a half out of him, I'll be buzzing. I'll be made with that. He plays for Scotland as well, so the international utility is there for me until the said Euros or said Nationals or whatever it is. And I've also brought in an Aaron Moy, who in the McGregor injury, I did anticipate would just come straight into the void. But at the weekend, the manager played a slightly different shape. But with the injury to Jota, I do think it enhances the chances that Moy starts midweek, i.e. tomorrow. And if he does, he'll get very similar points to McGregor, but he's a bit more adventurous with his forward passing, so he maybe does a wee bit better on some of those statistics. And so let's see if he plays, but I've got him to come into this kind of midweek situation for me. So I'm quite like you in terms of being quite lean, but I do actually have quite a lot of options, and in total I'm able to rock out with 11 teams this week, thanks to having the Gordon, who's got the midweek utility. Feels like Gordon has been 39 for about 10 years now, says Sorare Josh. Now, a lot of people know Craig Gordon, of course, has been at Sunderland and in the Premier League, and a lot of people will probably know that he kind of vanished away from the Prem. He basically had some sort of mad injury, and he kind of retired, and he took up coaching at my local club, Dumbarton. And then I think he maybe even played a game in a friendly or maybe a reserve match or something, right? But then Celtic, at that time as well, there's been Rangers, all the stuff that happened to them and whatever, I'm pretty sure. It might, maybe even just before that, I don't remember. But anyway, Celtic weren't spending big money, and they seen Craig Gordon in Dumbarton, and they went, "Craig, do you still fancy playing, pal?" And he went, "Aye." And then gave him a contract. The rest of history. He's been better than ever. But he's kind of similar to there's another player like him, Harry, you maybe remember it, but he had like 2 years out in the middle of his late 20s, early 30s. He maybe lost like 3 years of his career, so he's still got that time maybe as a goalkeeper, because it's a different, it's a different wear and tear on the body, if that makes sense. So not having that 3 years or however long he was out for, 2 years, a year and a half, I forget the exact time. Somebody can fact check me, of course. Maybe buys him on the back end,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping for. But coming into the midweek, I've got some hopes, but it all kind of rests on our trip tomorrow to Parkhead to Paradise for Red Bull against Celtic. The prize pools, I already had a wee dig around them. Like you said, there's no point going back through every fixture like we did last week because it's the same bloody fixtures, and we've all lived them. So you all know what cards you've got now and who they're playing. It's the same team. They're just playing home now or they're playing away now. Same stuff, you know. But in saying that, there is actually a little. Let's have a quick glance at the fixtures, right? Because there is one extra kind of detail, because I do have some SPFL cards playing. So we'll have a look at the matches that are non-European UEFA comps, right? So we've got a little bit of Argentina. Tucumán are at home to Rosario. If you have Lampe, that's a great fixture. Boca Juniors away to Sarmiento. That looks like a good fixture for Boca. River Plate, that looks like a great fixture for them. Europa League, we're not getting yet. So UEFA stuff we're not going to bother with because you'll know all that. We've got some Liga MX action. Don't know how that's going, but it's only like 4 games, so it won't be anything too crazy. There is some La Liga 2 games going on as well. Again, I don't know the teams amazingly well enough to say exactly any standouts, but I know that Gijón and Granada is definitely 2 of the bigger clubs in the division. I've got some cards from both teams, and that's quite a powerful fixture if you know who's going to win it. Levante Mirandes, that's kind of newly demoted La Liga club versus bottom of the table club, or bottomish. So that could be good if you've got some Levante cards. There's the Champions League stuff. We all know what we're doing there. Then we've got some, is that Colombia, I guess? Nobody cares about that. J-League, Yokohama at home to Jubileo. That's a big game because Jubileo have been the whipping boys this year. Yokohama are sailing home with the title, and that feels like a game where they win 5-0, maybe 4-0. And it's like a bit of a celebration and all that good stuff as the season gets into its final stages. Maybe there's 3 games left or something, 4 games. Kawasaki, Kyoto might be decent. Was there any fixtures in Japan that jump out to you, Harry, or any ones you've got cards in?
Yeah, so to be fair, like I do have a few J-League players, but to be honest, like for some reason Antlers are not playing, so a couple are nil and void from there, and then just leaves me with Tani basically away to Kobe, which they just smashed Hiroshima 4-0, I think it was, on the weekend. So
Oofed.
I'm a little bit apprehensive in sort of just wanting to play Tani, to be honest, because he is a super rare, so he can only go so many different, so many places. Can't go into All-Star Rare, for example.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's I'm a little bit scared about that one, to be honest. But some good fixtures, like you said. Marinos looks a good fixture. Kawasaki at home.
Yep.
On paper, probably a good fixture. And I even think, even though I own a Tani, I think Kobe at home seem to be sort of turning things around, even though it's very late on in the season. I would say they could be a decent pick, and if you've got your Kikuchis or whoever the guys are at Kobe right now, I'm sure that'll be a decent fixture for them.
Mikey Basson in live chat is saying Alaves are at home and they're top of the league to a lower end team. Channy Sports is in the house. Fist bump, good to see you. Non-Stick Llama, fist bump, good to see you as well. Gaza, good to see you too. Non-Stick Llama is saying he's got 1 goalkeeper for midweek, and that is Janis Blaswich, who is the number 2, aka now number 1 goalkeeper for Leipzig. So hope to see him painted in embarrassment on Tuesday. That's what we're after, Harry. We want it to be embarrassing for Blaswich. So Non-Stick Llama, I cannot wish you any of my luck for this game week, my man. I'm sorry. If that's your goalkeeper you're running with, because maybe if it was a player I could maybe accept, I don't mind you pulling out a 60 on AA or something, but the goalkeeper needs to be obliterated, so I'm sorry, my man. Channy Sports is loving seeing 2 of us on again, which is great to hear. So there, Josh, there's a wee chat going on. Antlers have Emperor's Cup second leg, says Mikey Basson. It's a semi-final. Cobby, our form team at the moment in J-League, 5 wins on the bounce. Mikey Basson with the intel. And then there's a wee bit of Korean stuff there as well. Sorry, but I just lost the tabs. I need to go back and find it. The Korean division splits into half, and it's top half versus all the top half play each other, or the bottom half play each other. So again, there's kind of mixed motivation levels across this. I'm not really motivated to dive into it, to be quite honest. In the Championship, we've got 2 games, none of them are licensed clubs. And then in the Scottish Premiership, we have Dundee United at home to Hibernian. Tony Watt and the gang in form at home to Hibs. And Hibs are no rubbish team by any stretch, you know, so I'm happy to back Dundee United for the midweek as well, having that super rare Tony and the super rare Gordon playing Fiorentina, you know, so I've got some good stuff rolling around. And these extra fixtures have kind of helped pad that out, I guess. But yeah, so I just wanted to run through it because I knew I had an SPFL fixture. I thought, I wonder what else is kind of running around, and I wasn't really aware. And then as we have a wee glance over it, there's not really much, is there? But
no, not really. When you said you had a Hearts player, I was like, well, why aren't they playing in the Championship? But clearly they're playing in the Euro Pro Conference, I guess. Against Fiorentina, like you said.
That's the Conference League, the bottom one.
Got you. Yeah.
So I went through the prize pools earlier. I'm not going to do this with everyone because it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, right? But I went through all the super rare prize pools, right, Harry? With my kind of thinking, I've got Gordon now. I've not got a unique, so I need to run 5 supers. Where's the best? Like, I'm not going to aim for podiums, but I'm going to aim for like the bulk of the prizes, right in the middle somewhere. You know, if I can get like 20th or 24th or, you know, where's the best I can kind of lock in. And especially super rare midweek is a great prize selection, but it's podium only, and that's just not appealing, man. You know, there's not a lot of entries, it must be said, and the criteria, of course, is difficult to breach. You know, for super rares in particular, but for only 3 cards, I'd rather maybe chance my arm at something that was a bit bigger. So I ended up going with my new Gordon, my nice new shiny card, into All-Star Super Rare. This is one of the last teams I built. I think I'll kind of maybe go to a priority team or two in a second, and then we'll, I've not got that many big teams to really go through, and then we'll flip over to you guys and see what you're up to. Obviously, Harry and anyone in the live chat can let us know what they're up to also. But the price pool here just looked much better. I was kind of thinking if I got into the tier 3s, maybe at a real push a tier 2, and those prizes were much better looking than what was in Challenger or even Specialist, because it's podium or nothing, you know. And the team I went for is Craig Gordon in goals away to Fiorentina. Greg Taylor should start after being rested at the weekend at home to Leipzig. Ki Sung Young should play again. Is in decent enough form winding up the season. Captain Hatate, who's in great form, just needs a decisive to get a huge score. And then friend of the channel, of course, Tony Watt up front as well, in great form with a nice midweek fixture. And I think all those guys are 60 capable, and then it's just the right combination of luck and maybe one or two of them kick on a bit, and cross your fingers and toes for a tier 2.
Any reason why you haven't chose the Defender Hatate card?
I've used it somewhere else. This was one of the last ones about. So I thought, I'll put Taylor in here because like Taylor will score pretty good. Like, so how many teams do I actually have with super rares in them? I've got a Challenger and an All-Star. So I've not built an underdog. So I've only got 3 teams with supers in them. So the other 2 teams took priority first and foremost. So the big priority team, the All-Star Pro, I've went with Ruben over All Black. Greg Taylor, the rare, goes in here. And then, Bryce is the best mid, Rio the forward, and Kyogo the super. It was Jota in here, but of course Jota is now highly, highly questionable, and I cannot put him in my best team. And if I play the Defender Hatate I've got as a super, so if I play that here over the Taylor, then it means I'm kicking out the super Kyogo or the super Braze, and I've only got 3 teams where supers are being played, so that's just not the way to go, because what I do in Challenger is I play the Defender Rio with Maeda, who's more likely to start now, I think, with Jota being out. His chances of starting have went up. Captain on the rare Kyogo, the Moy that should probably start as well, I would think. And the rest of this team, and this is quite a firepower heavy kind of lineup. The prize pool in Challenger isn't fantastic, but if we beat Leipzig, if we get a result, then this team, hopefully, if they're all playing enough minutes in the match and at the right time, maybe they get involved in it all. So that was basically it. So I'm getting like 3 kind of big power teams out, and that was just the reason that the chips fell as they did. Giakoumakis doesn't have a place in any team this week as of yet. I don't know if I can throw together an underdog. Maybe I could, I don't know. But
I like the look of those power 3 like you described them, to be honest. Yeah, obviously they're all heavily sort of dependent on Celtic's result tomorrow, I guess. But that just makes it bittersweet, doesn't it, in the end, I guess.
It's all about Celtic tomorrow. I don't have a defender, or could you do an underdog? That's a shame. Don't expect Boyata's not anywhere near the team at the moment. So yeah, that's the big teams. I've got a few limiteds rocking around. The one for the FC Barcelona Foundation members. So we've got I'll have a wee check at it now, because it is a midweek. We don't normally have midweek fixtures because the goalkeeper we normally use is Piri. But if I've got like Lampay playing, I'm quite happy to lend my Joe Hart to like the foundation, if you like, and then we can maybe try get a giveaway card in the midweek. So I'll have a wee glance and see if the community building's been done for it. Bald Sherlock's got one team in. He's the only one that's submitted a team. It doesn't look too dissimilar to the team I picked. So guys, between now and the deadline, go pick the community lineup teams for Gameweek 313 for Challenger Europe Limited for the FC Barcelona Foundation. The most popular picked team, if it's more than a couple of votes, will be picked, and that's what we'll go for. But this is the team I've ran with, so I went with Hart, Max. Rio was a mid card just because the clean sheet's less likely, you know, when you still want exposure to Rio, then midfielder's better than the defender. I've all got a forward unlimited. Nadishimai, who's playing tonight, actually is maybe a bit 50-50. And then Maeda, who is more likely to start now, I think. Maybe we could actually make this quite a Celtic-y team. Actually, where's that Rio? We'll get him back in. Because I'm thinking we've still got a Bada knocking around. We can maybe use. Yeah, we've still got a Bada. I've used Taxabanovic somewhere else. Sorry, guys. It's a midweek. And he's L15 under 40. Yeah, we could throw a Bada in here. That'd be a good team, wouldn't it? So that's what I'm sticking with until like you tell me otherwise by popular demand. Vote on the Sorare community lineup builder. I will check it again before the game week deadline comes. And I went with Captain Max just because he's at least a wee bit neutral. And then like if Celtic do not deliver, maybe the captain can rescue a wee bit of something, wee bit of tier 3 action maybe if we're calling upon it. So yeah, that's all I'm kind of excited for myself. I've got a funny team to show you in a second. I'm just having a glance at this. Yeah, I actually think this could be okay. Nolito and Haksabanovic are the L15 under 40s. Hakimi's got a good fixture. Silva's got a good fixture. Fuzato scored really good at the weekend. Maybe that does something. But I've went underdog, right? And I've played a goalkeeper as the card, as one of them that's playing. Wow. So I've got Tani, but I've got no forwards. I've got nowhere. I can't play Tani anywhere. I can't do anything else. With the like the combination of people I have, you know, I can't force a D4 anywhere. So I'm playing Aguero as the dud card, which I think is quite cool. You know, gives him something to do. You know, gets him out of training. Captain Osaka, maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't. Who really cares? Torres will be coming off the bench anyway. Guardiola will start against Celtic, but we hope he doesn't score good. And then Tani, you know, so be quite a fun team. Who knows? Maybe it does something funny. Imagine it won. How funny would that be? Winning.
That'd be really funny.
It'd be so good, man.
Aguero, what a guy.
So yeah, that's all I've got. Is your screen up, Harry?
Yeah, I've got my Sorare data lineup builder up on the screen right now.
Magic.
David Taylor says, even gents, not sure if Harry's quiet for anyone else. Yeah, but everyone have said that tonight. I don't know what it really is, to be honest.
It's maybe just a bit that I'm extra loud because as I was telling Harry, I found this sweet spot with my setup where the camera is and where the mic is. So I'm probably now just sounding better than ever. Maybe that's all it is. So Harry sounds you do sound the exact same to me. Like I don't hear anything different to normal, to be quite honest. Yeah. So if it is by contrast, because I'm looking at my mic now, it's bouncing all over the place. I might even turn it down. Because what about that? I'll maybe turn up a wee bit. Yeah, I think I'm maybe just super close to the mic.
Yeah, you sound good.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, so sorry, lads at home, if I'm a little bit too quiet. But yeah, no, in terms of like my decisions in this game week, yeah, I'm actually, I don't know, I'm all over the place, to be honest, because nothing stands out to me goalkeeper wise. I've got 3 options, like I mentioned earlier on. Costa's away from home, obviously did get the clean sheet, got a penalty save last game week. Was that not so much a one-off, but do we foresee that really happening again? Leverkusen are at home. I'd be very shocked if Porto keep a clean sheet, if I'm honest. Here we've got a 22% clean sheet percentage, which is the lowest out of the 3, not by much. Tani's also away, who is a super rare, so that does change dynamics a little bit. And then you've got Lafont, who's at home, the only keeper that is at home, but Freiburg do seem to score goals, and I can't trust Nantes with anything I do right now, to be honest. So I feel like it would be very stupid of me just because the fact that Lafont's at home think that that's a good thing, if that makes sense. Like I don't really think that changes much at all.
Can I ask you for a wee favour, Harry? Can you zoom in? Like, so do you know how to zoom on the actual window tab?
Yeah.
On my computer, you hit control and you scroll the wee wheel on the mouse kind of thing. But if you could scroll...
I just zoomed in once then to see if that changes anything.
And then maybe a tab thing at the top. But if you can go to 150% on the zoom for the window, It should bring it up. So see the actual players. We can maybe. Oh yeah, like that. That's perfect. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So you can see. I can actually see like the players. If you know what I mean, like a bit better now.
Okay. Yeah.
In terms of like see those extra details that Sorare data lineup builder gives us. Or those
No,
wee
I've got
numbers
you.
and
I just
stuff.
it
Tiny
hasn't
Costa Lafont.
refreshed yeah. Okay, you can. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So I'm in a bit of a predicament. Oh yeah, it's updated for me now, so I can see my own screen if that makes sense on the live stream. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird one. I don't know. Does anything jump out to you there, Quinny? Would Costa just be the normal play, or do you think there's a chance of Tanny doing something?
I don't know. I think it's easy to say Lafont is the last pick of the litter. He's the bottom of the barrel.
You'd have to, wouldn't you? You'd have to.
So Xabi Alonso's just come in at Leverkusen, replacing that guy that looks like Roger Federer. That I couldn't pronounce his name. That Swiss guy begins with S. So it's hard to judge what Leverkusen are going to kind of turn up. But Porto haven't changed, and Costa, by all accounts, is on fantastic form now. And goalkeepers, like I don't know, I've had goalkeepers before that when you do get that run of form, you know, they're good to throw in a game like this, like because as long as it's under 3, that's the kind of magic rule now in this new matrix.
Yeah.
Because if he's still going to make a bunch of saves and stuff like we seen with Trubin last week, he can still drop a healthy AA score all the same. So I think Porto will be defensively solid. Leverkusen will be different under Xabi Alonso. Maybe that, you know, they weren't doing great, obviously, otherwise the manager wouldn't get sacked. So
yeah.
I guess the Leverkusen element is really kind of hard to factor, but I think the cost element is quite easy because he's not as, it's like picking a goalkeeper when the guy's on rubbish form is really difficult. So normally when a guy's in good form, I'll kind of lean into that.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, like that is the obvious choice, isn't it? I know he's away from home. I know Xabi Alonso just sort of took over there, and yeah, the players are gonna obviously want to impress. His first Champions League game as well, which is a big deal, I guess. So yeah, but nonetheless, like you said, Porto are in good form. I think that's 2 clean sheets in 2. I can't remember the game before that. But yeah, good form. It'd be stupid for me to really go against that, I think. Even though I don't love the fixture. But then, yeah, we're getting into the defenders. Like I said, I don't have much to go off here, guys. I've got a Badiashile Super Rare, which is obviously on paper the best sort of player. They're away to Trabzonspor. He's not been rotated in the last couple of games. He's been playing well. They've been keeping clean sheets. So, it would come at a shock if he was rotated. But, I would sort of have to just accept that. We have a Timber, who obviously got annihilated last week. Cost me a card. As captain of my under-23 team. And then, yeah, Tanguy Nyanzu, who we're hoping has sort of somehow worked his way back into this Sevilla team, but again, away to Dortmund just smells like 3-4-0, to be completely honest. So I think Badiashile is our first super rare, just makes the most sense for now.
Good form as well.
Great performance at the weekend, he rotates. But he's been, like you said, he's been great. He's been very consistent, scoring between like your 60s and 80s over the last sort of 3 or 4 games. So I can't really, ask for much more, to be honest, from a super. And then, yeah, in super rare mid, I'm just like, I am ridiculously stacked in the sense of like, they're not all amazing. Well, they are all very good options. And yeah, it's just going to be hard to only go with one of these, basically, which is a little bit annoying. And then I'll kick myself because, I'll end up picking the one that doesn't score. Great. It's just bound to happen. But I feel like I feel like I can sort of scrape Visharan out of that 4. So we're looking at 3 now, which is obviously Luiz, Sforza, and Varela. Varela scored really well. I think it was last night, just another sturdy like 65 or whatever it was.
Nice.
Yeah, so
the Boca have that problem River Plate have where they rotate midweek and weekend players.
They can do, yeah, that is possible. I've seen Varela out of the side, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. So that is something to look into. I mean, Luiz is I know it's PSG away, but he is the obvious choice, hoping that 1, they don't get battered, and 2, he just doesn't foul everyone and get a load of yellows and, just get loads of negative points, basically, and hinder his, chances of AA. So, my gut feeling tells me, Luiz is the obvious choice. Like I said, rotated on the weekend. It just kind of makes sense, but am I just going with him because he's the bigger name playing in the bigger competition?
What about forward super rares?
I don't. Well, okay, I do have a few, but nothing of much value. So Vitesse looks to be injured. João Mario did play last game against Leverkusen, but not someone that I'd like to trust. And then Akida away to Kobe. I just don't like the look of that at all, to be honest.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it has to be a super mid basically, as my other super. And yeah, it's just probably a case of it's probably Sforza or Louise. Sforza actually plays like tonight, if that makes sense, 1 p.m. our time. So technically tomorrow morning. So yeah, and then this game is whenever this
is. Is he rotation danger? That sounds like they've got a quick turnaround for the game if they're playing.
Yeah, they do have a crazy quick turnaround. But no, as far as I'm aware, and from like the last sort of couple of games and stuff, no, he doesn't seem to be rotated as much as you probably think. But like you said, yeah, Boca do have that River Plate sort of syndrome in that sense. So I think I just have to go with Louise, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Right now it just seems seems like the safest option. Look at this opposition score, by the way. I've never seen a 95. What in the world am I looking at?
That would just be the averages from like this season. There must be a team in like Cyprus or Armenia or something like that who's whoever he's to have an OP fixture. I'm sure it is.
So people are saying that Odegaard's going to start, which I couldn't disagree with, of course, but then the predictions are that Carlson won't start, which is interesting because he didn't start on the weekend either. I know he's just coming back from injury and they're trying to sort of bed him in. I get it, but it's sort of trying to time when that first start for him is going to be. And it's like, there's just no point risking him at this point. So that's why I'm obviously it's basically gens. It doesn't make sense not to go with anyone else for this specific lineup because this is my my priority. And then as my extra player, it's basically Enzo Fernandez or Pedri. And we know Barca are at home. They need to beat into basically. It's a massive game. I don't see how they don't dominate possession. Pedri just scored on the weekend. Hopefully he can take that sort of bit of bite into the game with him. They obviously feel hard done by in the last fixture. So that's not to say that Enzo couldn't score well against PSG. I just think the likelihood is Pedri should outscore, an Enzo away to PSG, if that makes sense. So I think, although I was sort of saying before the stream that, I had loads of headaches and I weren't able to sort of, nail down what I wanted. I think this has been fine. Like I knew I would be able to get like one healthy lineup out.
Cool.
And this looks to be it.
Looks solid.
And then, that one's all sorted. And then it's just a case of like, okay, what do I have left? So I could either do something like this. So I could go Lafont. I could go Timber. I don't even know if this is going to work. Lafont, Timber, Enzo. And Carlson and Fati, which just doesn't seem... I don't know. It probably just isn't worth it, is what I'm getting at. So
who else could you pick rather than double forwards? Like, so say you go Carlson, then who else could be the extra spot?
Literally no one. Fofana's injured, and so is João Victor. So I literally am left with. I'm very, very low on Reyes right now. But
what about All Star? Do you not have any O23s at all?
I don't.
Not even one. No one lying around.
I have a Suso limited right now.
Fair enough.
But there is a little bit of scope to do something with the super rare. So it's kind of ironic how I don't even have enough. Why isn't that? For some reason it won't let me see my. That's very weird.
Does it to me sometimes as well.
Let me give it a little refresh. Like I know it's crazy how I don't have enough rares to. Well, I do have enough rares, just maybe not enough choice. But I could basically do something like Tanny.
It's midweek as well.
It is midweek as well. I could throw in Tanguy, even though we said it. It's going to be tough away from away to Dortmund.
Sure.
It's a tough one because, like I said, the sort of Forza Varela situation in terms of what's going to happen there is hard to really gauge. But let's say I just go with Forza for now, and then we go with either João Mario or Akida. I think João Mario people seem to think he's going to start. Was he left out of the whole squad? No, I think he was on the bench on Saturday. He didn't come off the bench, so it seems like that he was fully rested for this midweek. So that kind of means that he slots into there. And then as an extra player, We could go with Akida. We could go with Varela or Vasharan. So we could field 5 supers, and I think that would then allow me to go into All-Star Rare and just try and grind some ETH with Lafont,
Yeah.
Timber,
The pieces.
Enzo, and the 2 forwards. Yeah, like because I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time I won ETH. Like genuinely now, like I don't have enough sort of surplus right now to be able to do that. So that might be just a little bit of
That's
just
what I
a
would
welcome
do.
surprise. Yeah, I think that could be the play. Vasharan away to West Ham, I just don't love. So we'll go with
Varela.
Varela, like we said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't make sense not to. And we'll captain's Forza. We'll do all this over on the actual.
Yeah, don't forget.
Yeah, on the actual platform.
Stocky Scott
Just-
reckons Monaco still need the points, so they won't be rotating anything. And Andre Malley in the comment section is also asking, what's the info on Jota? Is he injured? Nobody really knows, Andre, but he didn't train. He came off a half-time at the weekend, and the manager's talking like, oh, well, if he's not available, then he's not going to play. And if he is available, then he will play, kind of vibes. But, it's, you know, the way it sounds, it's like, you know, we're not going to risk him kind of stuff, because we risked Kyogo last year. We played him in a cup final when he was touch and go, and he won us the cup final, and then he didn't play the rest of the season because they pushed an injury too far, you know. And we definitely don't want to do that kind of thing to Jota. So I believe the manager's kind of stance on it, if you know what I mean. But even as I'm saying it now, I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a diversion tactic, you know, sub Jota off at half time. Don't let him train before the game. Let everyone think he's injured a bit, you know.
yeah.
Maybe. It's not impossible. Stranger things have
No,
happened.
definitely.
It's Batman games
Definitely.
and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so yeah, I'm in a position now where I probably feel like that those 3 teams are, you know, sort of making me somewhat. I mean, I'm definitely happy with the under 23 pro. That's definitely a blessing to kind of look at. But yeah, the other two, yeah, you know, whether I get ETH or not is obviously up in the air, because Lafont could definitely drop another 0. And we don't know if Fatty gets off the bench. Okay, does he get decisive? Who knows? Carlson the same. And yeah, just sort of hope that those 5 super rares, play a big part in their games midweek. But yeah, no, I'm actually happy with how that built out. So yeah, thank you for the help and stuff. And I just saw that Jorge's in the building. Hope everyone's having a good day. Jorge, same goes to you, buddy.
aye, have a nice day, Jorge. Thanks for joining the stream, Fist Bump. Good to see you, my man. And David Taylor, evening, gents. Not sure if Harry's quiet. That's another one. Boom. Again, I'm not too sure. I'll be interested to listen to this back and see if it is by comparison or whatever.
Definitely.
But yeah, so Harry will be landing in Glasgow at the early hours of tomorrow. I think it's like 4 a.m. or something. Harry's coming up here by stealth fighter jet overnight so that the paparazzi don't hoard him at the airport. And then we'll be getting set up for going to Champions League, going to Leipzig away at Celtic Park, Paradise against Celtic. So no Celtic cards for you in any of your teams, Harry, which is a wee bit gutting. It'd be nice to see you have a wee bit of skin in the game, you know, see a wee goal fly in and we're all popping.
That would be fun. How much is an Aaron Moy right now?
How much is a Moy?
How much is
I don't know.
There's only
Not many.
2 on the market. I mean, there's only 2 in existence. Jesus.
Yeah. I slapped that up quick.
Yeah, no, that is a bit annoying. Yeah, that would be nice if I did have a little bit of exposure to, either of the teams, but obviously,
Not either of the teams,
Celtic.
Harry. Only one of them.
I mean, I could tactically buy a Leipzig player hoping that they absolutely just score horrendously bad. But yeah, no, I'll think about it. I've got a little bit of a cash balance, so maybe something can work out to where I can sort of fit something in somewhere. So yeah, never say never.
Never say never. Well, if you're after a U23 mid, I'd maybe recommend Taxabanovic, because I don't think we have any other ones that exist on the platform yet.
That's actually a funny story. I was actually watching Celtic on Saturday morning, wasn't it? They played.
Yep.
And yeah, I was actually really impressed with him. He was probably the only, not the only, but I didn't watch the first half. I'll be honest. I basically watched the second half, and you know, Matt O'Reilly always sort of impresses me. Hatate similarly, but yeah, Haksabanovic he offers something a little bit different in that sort of number 10 role in that Celtic team that I really liked him, you know. I thought he was really good.
I liked him too. Somebody on one of my TikToks commented calling him, because I've been calling him Haxa just for short, and someone in one of my TikToks or shorts, somebody in one of those wee videos commented saying, calling him Hacksaw. And I'm like, I'm taking that, sorry. So we Sead Haksabanovic.
That's class. Just looking at his price now, 0.6 is the minimum.
I reckon
Jesus.
that guy'd accept 0.4 if you sent him it.
Yeah,
I've been trying to pepper him. I've been trying to pepper him with trades, but they're not taking it.
Really?
Aye.
I didn't realise he was so limited. So are they not going to bring out his Celtic card either, I'm guessing?
Well, Harry, you won't know this, right? But see, last time we went there, to the so we've got hospitality, we've got Sorare tickets, so we're going in there. And last time we went there, when I went there with Etienne 23 from the Sorare Odyssey and Simply Alex and my friend Wallace that came. We got to meet like the guy, because obviously Sorare some mad sponsor or something. Some mad guy came up to the table and he was like, "Oh, you're here from Sorare, no, nice to meet you," and all that. And he was just going to wee chat. So when I meet that guy, I'm going to be saying to him, "Listen, you need to get a picture of Sead Haksabanovic and email it over to Sorare first thing in the morning because you're not making money. What are you doing?" Hoping to hopefully we get some Haksabanovic cards because you're not.
I like the tactic.
Yeah, because like if you go to Sorare, they're not going to do anything, you know. So if I get to, I know I'm going to bump into that guy, tomorrow night, and I'll be saying to him, "Big man, you need to get the boys told. Haksabanovic, send the picture, make the card."
Sort it out. Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
I'm hoping he's the guy that can sort it.
He probably is the guy, or he might know a guy who knows a guy.
Jorge Vargas is saying that he wasn't going to play European football. He wants to save some action for the NBA, but this stream's giving him some FOMO. The good thing about European football, I think, is is having one team, that's maybe an aggregate of like 4 of your teams, but you've got a goalkeeper that plays mid. This team wasn't built to be a midweek team, but you've got a midweek team somehow. Those are my favourite ones. It's always those happy accidents. They're the ones that always do well for me, So Jorge Vargas, I do feel where you're coming from, that missing out on it is a bit of an itch. Mikey Johnson's not at Celtic anymore. He plays in Portugal, but he's worth keeping your eye on because he's made 3 appearances off the bench, got an assist.
Yeah, one of my best mates is a Celtic fan, and when Mikey was about 18, I remember him bursting onto the scene for Celtic, and I was
going mental for him.
Mate, how good was he when he was about 18?
Aye, he was probably as good as he is now, but it's well more impressive when you're 18 than when you're 23 or something,
100%. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's just kicked on, is he, at all?
I think he'll do good in Portugal, but
so much promise. Yeah. No, I hope he does. I really hope he does. Yeah, cheap as chips as well, to be fair.
But yeah, not a Celtic card, unfortunately. You won't be seeing him tomorrow. Unless it's on a Zoom call or something.
Johnson.
Another fun thing that happened today as well, Harry. I sent you the wee thing earlier on. Anyone who's here, by the way, if you go onto the actual Celtic YouTube channel, there's a press conference with Darren O'Day and the Celtic kind of youth B team. They're playing in Youth Champions League against Leipzig, and yours truly, Quinny 3001, was at the press conference. I got to ask him 2 questions, but they only kept one of them in for the very end. So maybe that's me. I'm a press conference man now, soon to be a ITK account, so
you're a finely tuned journalist now.
So what I said to I think it was 8 minutes 25. If you jump to 8 minutes 25, you hear O'Day just talking about stuff, and then boom, yours truly pops in. All right, Darren, how's it going?
I listened to it. I listened to it. It was a good question as well. It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it.
I loved it, man. It was
cool.
Some buzz. I had to get up here early in the morning and all that. But that was good. And again, anyone who supports the channel, of course, please do leave a like on it and all that good stuff, of course. Yeah. It was a good laugh for me to start the game week off. But unfortunately, Darren O'Day wasn't telling us anything about the first team. He was only talking about his own team, of course, which fair play to him. But no ITK info there. What do you think of Vitinho from Burnley? He's got a card. I don't think he's that great, is he?
No, I've known of him for a little while now, like back in his Circle Bruise days.
Oh, he's on screen now.
Bruise days. Yeah, I don't know, he's hot and cold. He's really hot and cold. I don't know. He doesn't scream consistency to me in any way, shape, or form. Could he get there? Possibly. I don't love him. I just, if you're looking for Ethan stuff and you're looking to sort of, like I said, if you're looking for that consistency, I just don't think you're gonna find it in him. Burnley do like the odd rotation as well. Like Company will tend to like Howard Bella seems to just play every game, but there's a few in that defense, maybe on the wing now and again where Vitinho plays. Yeah, it's quite hard to sort of judge on in terms of like what Company's going to do, of course. But yeah, good score on the weekend against Coventry in a 1-0 win. Obviously, did get the clean sheet added to that, but yeah, no, like, I mean, it depends on your situation, of course, but like, he doesn't
How much is
scream
he?
out to me.
What we're
Wow,
talking about as
he's
well,
pretty.
rares or unlimiteds, do you think? I know the guy's not said, but
Yeah, well, limited is dirt cheap. You're looking at £4, but
yeah, it's must be a rare then, eh?
rares you're looking at 70s maybe. Buy it now. I'm not sure what you could get him for. If you're gonna make an offer, but yeah, I'm sure you could get him for a little bit cheaper than that for sure.
So I'm guessing,
But yeah,
sorry, you're 23.
60 quid. The new card went for 60 quid yesterday, so I don't think he's terrible for 60 quid, but like I said, I don't think you're going to get a great deal of consistency from him personally.
Yeah. I'd probably go along with that as well. So yeah, I kind of knew he wasn't great, but I knew he's got a card, he'd got carded and then went to Burnley or whatever. So yeah, I can't really, I've not seen him, but I know from looking at Burnley and having that Harwood Bellis that I have looked at this guy once or twice and just went, nah. Not worth it. I'm not bothered.
No, not at all. He's a good player though. Like he's sharp. I've watched him play. He is very, very sharp. He has glimpses of wow, there's a player somewhere in here. But yeah, as the sort of Sorare scores can sort of show you that he's just not worthy right now. I would say of any consistent minutes in that sense.
I think he can be used to get my first limited tier 3. Okay, so this is somebody you're trying to buy for a £5 then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's even better. So there's many more options in this guy for a £5. I would say no. Let me go and see who we can find for a £5. This is is it just to get? So you've picked an under 23 defender, right? Which isn't exactly a OP situation. If you're looking for somebody that's cheap, you don't want somebody that's U23 because they will have an extra wee bit on them, So let's check second division because I'm guessing you want some of this calendar utility at the championship. Andres Andrade's maybe a shout. He's playing D2, it would seem. Oh yeah, Byfield get relegated, of course he did. So Andres Andrade, I can put this on screen, Harry, don't worry, buddy, I'll just swap them around.
Of course, thank you.
So this guy is he's like £3 or something. He is also an international. He plays for Panama, so however valuable that is to you. But yeah, there's him. There's also Quinny, the one and only Quinny of Granada. He plays Division 2 football. Maybe I'll get a number 17 of him this year. And he's kicking it. Oh, I'm definitely buying a Quinny. I definitely need to get one now, don't I? For this D2 team that I've built. I'll go and do that later. But yeah, that's class. So he's playing football again. We'll get him involved. Benkovic is playing as well. He's about £8, £7. He's decent. Jonathan Panzo's about a tenner. And he's probably Panzo's got a much better profile. He's got a profile very similar to Harwood Bellis, but he's just, he's had loan spells and they've just not worked out. Hence why he's at Coventry. But he is an England international captain, I think, as well at youth level. So, yeah, this is my favourites for the criteria that matches Vitinho, whatever the guy's name is. And I think any of these guys are better options than him, to be honest. Even Panzo. He plays every game.
Hi, am I saying you can't play Andrade at the moment? Silas Naka is doing some good things.
Is he? Okay. Well, thanks for the intel, hey, Mai. That's cool. Thanks for the intel. Thanks for catching me on that. So forget Andrade. Panzo, he's a tenner. He's maybe a wee bit more expensive, but he's a bit better. And then who are the other guys that were there? 100%. Benko is decent. Quinny's a legend, of course. And was there somebody else? Jamie McCart? I don't think he's playing. He's 83 but yeah, he's not playing. Who else is there? Harwood Bellis, too much for this budget. And Jordan Baird, your guy's in the budget, £7. Would you say he's better?
He just got injured. Well, no, I think he just got injured on the weekend. So he started when I didn't expect him to this weekend. He started 2-2. That is now midweek and then weekend, and then got brought off like 40th minute or something. So yeah, gutted for him, to be honest. But yeah, I would have said yeah, but yeah, I would have to sort of reserve my opinions on him for now.
I think we've got a winner. Mamadou Diarra, right? I bought this guy because he was a quality guy in the Turkish league. Don't really know what happened to him, right? He disappeared for like 6 months, like genuinely disappeared. Didn't have a team, no stories, no nothing. And he's turned up in France League 2. And his last 3 games, he's a U23 defender, centre back, really like good Turkish league player in League 2. In his last 3 games, he's got a 52, a 34, and a 58. I don't think there's clean sheets in these games. Although there would have been in that one. Grenoble plays for you. So 1 clean sheet for the 52, conceded 2 there for the 34, and conceded 2 tonight or yesterday, and still brought in a 58. So and this guy is £4, and he plays all the time. So I'd definitely happy to say Mamadou Diarra over that other boy. I would definitely do that.
Yeah, if you're looking for bargain basement and
got your screen back on.
Don't worry, I've just...
Rico Man, fist bump, good to see you. He also is shouting for Mallorca tonight. We do need a clean sheet from them, Rico Man, you're right. And Dave L is suggesting Stelias Andreou, the Cypriot defender, the rookie from last year. He's a solid shout if he's around that price range as well.
Very good shout, that is. I'm not sure of his minutes right now, but I'm guessing the fact that you've mentioned him would suggest that he is playing somewhat. So yeah, that sounds like a great shout as well. Definitely have a look into him.
There's some nice ones for sure, man. So there's your teams, Harry. I really like your under 23 pro. I think Pedri's, like Inter played well at the weekend. But I think Barca, like, they really need a big result in Europe, because, Joan Laporta, whatever his name is, the Barca guy, they're doing, like, press conferences saying, like, if we don't qualify for the knockout stages, then a lot of these financial gambles we've taken are going to backfire. So, like, the pressure is on. They just got up. Did you watch the Celta Vigo game last night? The Barca game?
No, I saw it was really fiery, though, wasn't it?
It was tight as a duck's arse, mate. Like, there was nothing in it. Diego Aspas could have scored. And yeah, it was just a really tight game. Gavi and Pedri and Biscuits all started, and oh no way! Surface Tiramisu is saying he's just sent me a Quinny Limited.
Wow!
I'm guessing he's won it, and he's just went, fuck that. I'm not, if you want to save me selling it for £2. Surface Tiramisu, your generosity is always greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. For the donation, I'm just going to go and check that out. So thanks very much, buddy. That means the world to me. I might even put it in a team offer from Surface to Air. What a gentleman. Number 280. I'll take that. No problem at all, sir. Thank you. Nice. What a gentleman.
So nice.
What a gentleman the old Surface is. And your generosity knows no bounds. Surface Tiramisu reuniting me with my namesake into the gallery. That was rapid, less than a minute ago. So you must have just won that. 280. You must have just won that right as the season ended. Well, maybe not. Oh, you bought him? You must have... Did you buy him? Oh, maybe you bought him for underdog specialist or something. That's cool. I'm happily take that off your hand, Surface there, so you're an absolute gentleman. I owe you a pint or a coffee or something. Absolute legend. Pascal M says he needs an American mid and forward. Now, I was saying this earlier, Harry, with my members. I guess we'll hang about with this kind of sentiment for the kind of remainder. Oh, you bought him for me? Oh, Surface, that's cute. Oh, thanks a lot, man.
Really,
what a guy.
Nice. That's so nice.
Cuddles and fist bumps, my man.
Surface is an absolute legend, I know from experience.
What a guy.
Absolute legend.
What a guy, Surface. I actually seen the date on it, 10th of October. You're spot on there. So thank you very much. But I was saying this earlier, Harry, about the American mid and forward. Somebody was asking me in my chat earlier about different market positions and all the rest of it, and we're basically at the sweet spot that if you're prepared to buy in to a winter break, you're prepared to buy into an off-season dip, you're prepared to get those types of assets. MLS, again, like, I don't think it's... I think every year, Harry, I've said MLS doesn't normally line up with Europe this well this year, but for the last 3 years it has, just the way everything's bloody went with COVID and restarts and then the World Cup, obviously, and everything that's happening now. So again, the MLS comes quite nicely into sync with a lot of these more winter leagues that we have in Europe, like Russia, Austria. Some of these guys with just smaller fixtures, they can take bigger breaks as well in the middle. So if you are looking for those kind of breaky cards, American MLS, but America's in particular is a firm region now that's on the table for that. Have you looked into any off-season MLS cards or any end-of-season MLS cards yourself, Harry boy?
I haven't. No, it's been I've thought about sort of dipping into building myself a nice little MLS team, to be completely honest. How I'm going to make that happen, I'm not too sure. Obviously, I'm going to have to somehow dilute my under 23s in some way to afford to do that. But yeah, no, I'm just sort of, well, I've got one player up now that I'm sort of in love with. But yeah, Emmanuel Reynoso is one of my sort of, I don't know, I wouldn't say favorite players, but he's just sort of, when I heard Pascal say I need an American middle forward, that's just the first person that comes to my mind right now is Reynoso. Yeah, just a baller. Like, I've seen him play in real life, and he's unbelievable. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he's 0.44 right now, cheapest. Like, it's not terrible. I don't know if that's gonna go any lower. Like you said, you think we're at the sweet spot. Maybe we are. It would make sense if we are, if that in that sense. But yeah, in terms of like getting ready for next season, I'd love a Reynoso. I rate Pereira as well for Orlando. I wouldn't, that's someone that I do like. He does enjoy an injury though, and he is getting on a little bit, so he would fall into a cheaper category. In terms of forwards, just off the top of my head, I mean, you're looking at like players like Brenner and stuff, but they're under 23s. I don't know if you probably need to do that in any way. What forwards do I like in the MLS? Again, you're looking at like Insigne, Bernadeschi. Is it worth sort of going that deep? I don't know. Daniel Saloy's looked a bit sharper recently. Or Shalloy. He was somebody that I actually had a card of last year, and I really enjoyed owning him. He was a beast last year. Goals and DAs for fun. But sort of, went off the boil a little bit this year, but brought it back somewhat.
Harry boy, can you see the graph I've got on screen?
I can't right now, but okay. I'm sure it'll pop up.
It'll pop up in a second. There's a suggestion came in from the chat from your man Jorge Vargas here saying Facundo Torres is a must for America next year. And I've pulled up this guy's 6 month graph, and it is pornography. It's disgusting. I cannot have it on this content and not have it been rated explicit. It's bloody lovely. And then when you scroll up from there, and you see, man, he's about the same price as your boy Reynoso, and I really like Reynoso. One thing I was going to say on him there, Harry, is see when you watch him, if you know this guy's not attracting European scouts. He does look like he's just come out the pub or something,
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
carrying a little bit. Carrying a bit.
He's just like a guy. He's like a quality player, isn't he? But he's just
he's unbelievably good at football, but just doesn't look after himself to the point where like he should, if that makes sense.
He's just not a mega athlete.
No.
But this guy's like 22, same kind of age as your man, and he's maybe got a wee bit more of that going. But sometimes with these guys, you do have that. Again, even with Facundo here, the Uruguay, maybe he could go to Mexico. Some of these things happen as well. So that's one of the things I like about a Reynoso shout is that some of those guys are a bit safer in MLS. That is the pinnacle of their career, and they're unlikely to, try and go to the bottom end team in Serie A to try and make it. Kind of thing. They're quite happy being the designated player in their city and being the main man in the show. But this guy's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but those two kind of tie in together in a weird way for me.
100%. Ryan says Rui Puig and Almada. I think Almada moves, personally. I think he's way too good for that league.
You think Almada moves so quickly?
Yeah. I can't see him staying, to be honest. He's way too good for that league.
Yeah.
Puig, obviously. Derusi, Joe says, good shout, to be fair. Derusi and Insigne are the only non-under 23 forwards, in my opinion.
Yeah, Derusi's the man.
I've seen Facundo play, to be fair, in real life as well, luckily, in that Orlando game that a load of us went to. And he's special. He's a good player. I think he could go better as well, personally. So that's obviously always a risk with these, somewhat better under 23s. Do they move? Do they not? And where do they move? Like we've seen with Pepe recently. That's an interesting sort of case study in the sense of his move to Augsburg didn't work out for him. Yeah. Goes on loan to Groningen, and he's banging in goals for fun. I know it's early doors, but it's just interesting to see how, just that that right move, that right league, just sometimes just sort of is a better fit for you than others, and especially when you're young as well. It's so hard to adapt to different cultures and stuff, which we don't really even think about as people just looking at stats on a screen for the most part. But very interesting for sure.
Yeah. I've got on screen now the scores for Ricky Puig, and the first thing that popped into my head as soon as I actually seen his graph is this is under 23 Carlos Heel. You know, those scores are like epic, and you know, I don't see them not continuing. And yeah, he looks fantastic. 1.2 ETH is not exactly a bargain in you know, the kind of cheap aspect, you know, but like for where he could continue to run to, he's U23 for another 2 years.
Yeah,
you know, that's a powerful card, man. That's a powerful card. Great shout. And yeah, if there is some sort of off-season discount on one of those, be sure to pick it up if you're so capable. Jack Price comes out of injury and is cheap. If you get Jack Price, could be like a Jordan Morris kind of card or something like that. Yeah, very, very 70 plus capable, very easily slept on because his name is Jack Price and it's not Ricky Puig or, you know, Facundo Torres or something exotic, you know. Being like 30 in English and then MLS and be called Jack Price, no one's going to scout you. Like, so he will go cheap. Nobody will be setting alarms for those auctions. I promise you that. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. I like Jack Price as a good shout. I think Morgan will be a good shout next year. He won the Red Bulls Player of the Year. They maybe get better next year. He's been doing pretty good. Probably doesn't leave either. Same kind of vein as what I was saying with Reynoso. Probably realises this is as good as it gets and just leans into it for as long as they can.
Definitely.
Similar to Ryan Gold, who I quite like as well, but his price is on the way up. Somebody mentioned Joseph. I love Joseph Martinez, right? But like since Sorare came out, he's been awful. Like he's just been rotten. So I do feel like really, I would feel guilty endorsing him at this stage. After the way this season's went, I think Druisi's the man, and I think Bernadeschi's still wildly slept on. I'm going to pull up his price because it's maybe changed. But last time I looked at Bernadeschi, I thought that is just wild. Like, yeah, this is criminal. This is criminal still. 0.4.
How much? Ooh, yeah, that's... Is he a forward card as well or a mid?
I think he's got both. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got both. So let's see, last 6 months since he's been in Toronto. Forward card, whatever it is fifth. Yeah, forward card is better than the mid card on the form they've had this season so far anyway. But... yeah, that's you know, if you can get him down, and again, the only problem he's got now is limited scarcity, but that will change as soon as the new season comes out. There's no way they're not taking a picture of this guy. It's just not going to happen. So that bottleneck, you know, maybe you get one of these guys desperate one day and you can get them maybe down to that 3.5 mark again, 0.35, or maybe even depend on the price of ETH. Maybe you buy ETH at today's price and maybe it goes up a bit, and that guy will then accept a bit less ETH, or I don't know, whatever. I think he's an amazing off-season guy to get because Insigne, Crescito, Bernadeschi, and Bob Bradley building that team around these guys. Like, you know, Toronto next year have to be considered playoffs. Like, you know, that's what they're going for. You know, Insigne should be getting 3 decisives a game. Like, really, you know.
Literally. Literally, I'm just doing my training lineups as we speak.
Oh, they're so much fun, aren't they?
But no, Bernadeschi's a solid shout for next season. If he can be bothered, you know.
I like Keaton Parks as well. He's just come back at the back end. He's back from injury at the very back end of this season. Normally a mainstay, very dynamic midfielder. Christian Roldan as well is injured at the moment. Very good midfielder. Kind of came back again towards the back end of the season. Seattle not there. So these are guys I'm quite fond of. Not new names, I suppose, to a lot of the people that regularly tune into the content. But in terms of what we're throwing there, that's kind of what I've got for that. And yeah. Barco could be back at Atlanta. Jonathan B reckons he's still under contract with Atlanta United. And yeah, maybe they just bought Almada Rapid to sell him quickly and loan out Barco so you free up the DP slot and then let Barco come back in as if nothing happened. I could dig it. Yeah, I could dig that big time, man. I'd love Barco to go back to MLS. I think it much better suits him than the Argentinian league. Like, he does well. He still picks up AA, but he's not breaking into River. And I think if he was at a worse team, I don't think he would do good. Don't think he could carry a mid-range team. He's somebody that needs to be in a good team, you know, at the very least, you know. So I'd love to see him go back to Atlanta. I've also got a shirt that's got his Atlanta shirt here printed in the studio. So I'd love him to go back to Atlanta. That would be double sweet for me.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Forwards are a bit lighter, says Joe Ducey. I think Bernadeschi is probably the number one. Again, for the price, I don't know if it's quite a bargain necessarily. Who was the other one I was thinking of? Rui Diaz is out injured. I think he signed a contract earlier this season, so he's not going anywhere. And this guy is like a 20 goal a season striker whenever he's playing, you know, maybe not quite 20 this year, 13. But when he does play, he scores. He's just getting him on the pitch.
100%.
Maybe he's one to keep an eye on, perhaps, because he will go cheaper. But he is the man. And I think he's just signed an extension.
Dennis Bouanga at LAFC just recently moved there.
Oh,
He could be a
yeah.
nice little,
Little
shout.
yeah, that's a great shout, by the way, because Dennis Bouanga, as you'll know, Harry, like a few years ago, he was popping off for St Etienne in the Europa League. He got like 12, 13 goals in the Europa League or something in the group stages. Absolutely horse people. Was picking up IPDs for fun and getting goals and assists galore. And he's a guy very similar to a lot of these other guys we were just chatting about. Druise, Puig, Bernadeschi, whatever. This guy's above MLS, and if in an LAFC team that's still got guys like Vela and Bale and whatever else running around in it, he could very easily be like a Carlos Heel type, in terms of the score output you get from him. And if he has a forward card, that could be really good.
100%. Yeah, there's a few players in there. 100. No, you can definitely fish out a nice little team.
Forwards are tough, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and Joe Ducey's saying the LAFC do rotate quite a lot. I think that might change come next season, because I think, Bale's firmly controlling that rotation towards his World Cup optimization, and it is playoffs now, so, but I reckon when you get back into the regular season, they've all had a pre-season together, they've all recuperated and recovered and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Maybe that rotation is maybe lessened, but yeah, sure, if that's what's happening now, then definitely valid concerns, I would say, for sure. Hey, Mai saying I need to sign Marco Farfan. Lots of mid choices. Yeah.
Farfan's a good player.
Yeah.
I like Farfan.
Farfan's solid. I don't know if he's a mid card, but all the same. But Harry, we've been going for just about an hour and a half. I think it's about time for us to be wrapping up and let everyone get on with the rest of their game week. We're just about locked and loaded in for game week 313. I was about to say 113, going back in time here, Harry. And then as we leave the stream, Harry will be flying in his stealth private jet up to Glasgow for the Champions League tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing stuff. I don't know if it will be a pre-record or a live or something, but we'll be up and about and we'll be getting stuck into the game and everything else that's around. At Harry Trades across all social media. If you haven't followed him already, find him. He'll be there. And go give him a follow and a like. And I'm the exact same, but it's Quinny 3001. If there's a social media, it's probably just opened an account. And yeah, give us a follow and let us know how you're getting on. And we will see you probably on Harry's channel, maybe back here on Thursday for the weekend. Should be a big weekend after this midweek of, let's see how it goes actually. But it should be party time this midweek. Harry, absolute pleasure, my man.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you for having me again. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to kicking it off tomorrow with you at the Celtic game. Really, really, really excited.
Buzzing. I can't wait, man. Everyone at home, thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.